Hello there. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to improve performance for a YouTube embed. So let's say that you're using a YouTube embed block. So this is the YouTube embed block by WordPress. And then there are going to be some performance issues on your website if you're going to use it because there's not much performance optimization. So if you look at the performance data, you can see that with that block, you're going to have this player base.js script that is going to that's currently taking a lot of time, 5.87 seconds. That's the size. There's embed player that's taking like 7.15 seconds and 278 KB of size. And then another issue apart from that is that it loads the thumbnail. This is the thumbnail basically, as you can see over here. This thumbnail is the same thumbnail that's loaded both on mobile and desktop. So it says max res default. So it's actually going to load a big image, and we don't want that. We want a smaller image on the mobile, which is why, as you can see, that it's in amber. It's 1.17 seconds. So we need to fix these issues. So what can we do actually? Well, so the problem is that even though user hasn't reached the YouTube element on the page, let's say this YouTube element was towards the end, but still the iframe is loading, which is adding up to the performance. So what we can do is initially when the user comes on the page, then we just load the image, which is the thumbnail, and then it's when the actual user clicks on this particular icon or button, that's when we're going to bring in the iframe and show that to the user. Okay, so let me give you a demo. So I'm going to go to the front end. I've already made that changes in a way that it's going to be, you're going to be able to do that with the default WordPress block itself. Of course, there are plugins available also. You have YouTube Lyte, WordPress plugin. Yeah, there is this plugin, which is WP YouTube Lyte, that you can use. But if you want to bring your own custom solutions, which is not a lot of code, I will tell you what to do. But first of all, I want to show you how it's actually working. So I opened this URL and then I'm going to go ahead and inspect. And then if I go to this, you can see that we have a custom element, LB-YouTube embed. And inside of this, I have an element called YouTube embed player, but that element doesn't have any iframe at all. So to the user, it looks like it's a YouTube video, but it doesn't have an iframe. So because it doesn't have it, we're actually not loading anything. We are going to just get the video ID. Of course, you can grab that when you have a video URL. For instance, if this is the video, then this is your ID over here. So you can place the ID in the video ID, and then this is an overlay where we're using the background image, which is basically the YouTube image thumbnail, and then you have a button here, which is basically going to be the trigger to bring the iframe into existence, into the DOM, and then also play it. Okay, now, so let's see how we can convert our regular WordPress iframe into this markup. Okay, and then when I click on this element, as you can see, it's actually brought, I'm going to pause this. It's brought this iframe into it, right? And it's got this player playing as well, right? And another thing that I've achieved is that when the video is about to end, it's going to remove the iframe from the DOM and bring that background again. As you can see, that iframe has been removed, and then that background, which is a thumbnail, is again into existence. Then I can play it again I can click it again to play it. Okay, so now let me show you the code, how to achieve it. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to hook into the WordPress hook called embed HTML, and you call your function with that hook. So once this hook is executed, this function will be called, and inside of this you're checking a bunch of things, like if the string contains youtube.com, then basically get the path, and then check if the path is not an empty string, get the video ID from the path. So basically we are extracting the video ID from the YouTube URL. So I just showed you a YouTube video URL that you can get an ID from that, but we are doing it programmatically. And then basically going to go ahead and get the video ID. So depending on what type of URL it is, because sometimes it's youtube.com, sometimes it's youtube.be, sometimes watch. So different scenarios basically of the URL. We're just extracting the video ID. That's all that's happening here. Once we have the video ID, what we're going to do is we'll return our own embed. So now it's not going to use the default iframe of the WordPress. It's going to use our own custom markup, because we want to be able to go ahead and use that. So here we have a class, we have ended equals true. By default it's ended. We are setting that to ended, which means video is not playing. We have video ID. We also have accessibility instruction message, because we also need to take care of the accessibility. I will explain that to you in a moment. And then this is the player element where the iframe will be inserted over here. And this is your overlay, which will have a background. We are hiding it for the accessibility by screen readers, because they don't need to see they can't see the image anyways. And then you have the button over here, which has an ARIA label of play and title of play, so that it can be announced to the screen readers, by the screen readers. Okay, and then you also have an iframe instructions, which is only for screen readers, where we're going to insert this particular message, so that when the user is into screen reader mode, then they will be able to know that they need to press tab to access the video control. So we'll come to that. Now let's take a look at the code. So what do we have over here? Well, first of all, we need to create a function called load YouTube API. Okay, and this function basically is saying on API ready. We are going ahead and checking the API using the yt.player, and then we are clearing the interval, we are resolving it, and we are rejecting in case if the YouTube API failed to initialize. Okay, and then we have a promise. We return the promise window.yt, and then we have an existing script, and then we are adding the add event listener with the script.source, script.add event listener, and document.head.append child. So eventually, once we construct this script, we're going to append that to the head of the document, and then we return the promise. So that's basically what's happening. You can get this code, of course, from the YouTube documentation as to how to construct a YouTube API. And once we have that, we have a custom web component, which is LB YouTube Embed. And that's what I have over here, LB YouTube Embed. And we're going to load the script for us. We're going to create a function called enqueue script on YouTube block render. And here is where we are checking if the block is YouTube, and if it's a core embed, that's when we are enqueuing our script, the JavaScript that we've written, and we're also going to enqueue our style. So if we take a look at this function, so we hook it with the render block function, and we call that function once this is executed. Okay, so that's how our script will be included, and then we also have some styles, which I'll explain to you in a moment. So what are we doing here in this class, which is basically going to be implemented to this custom web component? Well, first of all, we are grabbing hold of the video ID, we're getting the player element, which is basically this guy right here, and then we are also getting the end screen background element, which is this right here, so that we can add the background, which will be YouTube thumbnail. Then you have the iframe instruction element, which is this guy right here, so that we can announce some instructions for the screen readers. And then we have a connected callback. This gets called once the custom web component comes into the DOM. And then here we're checking if we have the video ID available, which is being passed from here. And then we're checking if it's mobile or not. If it's mobile, then we are actually using SD default because we want to load a smaller resolution thumbnail for mobile and the full resolution for the desktop. Then we are setting the background image to the end screen background element. So if you go and check this one right here, end screen background element, we've set the style background image to that URL. So as you can see, that's what's happening. And then we are adding an event that whenever this particular element, which is LB YouTube embed, it is clicked, then we are checking if it's ended. Then we need to replay the video. If it's not ended and it's not loaded, then we are setting the loaded attribute to true, and then we are loading the video player. Inside of the load video player, we are going ahead and creating a custom iframe element, setting its width, height, source, allowing full screen, all of these parameters, and then also setting the tab index to 0, because what we want to do is when the user taps into it, then and when the user goes ahead and clicks this particular button, like for example, if I do it like that, and then user clicks onto this, we want to set the focus to the iframe. So that's why we need to set the tab index to 0, and then we add that player into the DOM. So you can see now when I clicked, when this is loaded, when this function is called basically, then iframe becomes appended, and we are bringing the focus to that, because what happens is initially the focus is on the button. Let me just move it here. Yeah, initially the focus is on the button, right? So once the user clicks, we need to bring the focus to that iframe, and iframe doesn't exist already. So once it comes to the DOM, that's when we want to add the focus. Okay. So we say iframe.focus, and then we announce any instructions for the user. So the instructions gets announced, and then we call the load YouTube API, and then initialize the YouTube player, and that's when basically it's going to start playing. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. And this announce screen reader instruction is going to insert the screen reader text into that. So if you check, and this has inserted this, right? Of course, this announcement will only happen for on the screen readers, not for the regular users, because as you can see, it says ARIA live polite. This means after any other instructions were already there on the screen for the screen readers, if once they are finished announcing, that's when this message is going to be announced. So anytime the content of this element changes, that's when screen reader will automatically announce whatever you have placed inside of this. So we are placing this inside of this, so the content of this will change from empty to some text like this, and then screen reader is going to announce that. I'll show that to you in a moment. Okay, and then on player state change, which is the function, we are hooking it to the event when the state changes of that particular YouTube player. Then if it's ended, we are setting the ended equals true and showing the end screen. And also we have something called exit full screen, which means if the user was on a full screen, we want to be able to exit it. So let's say you clicked on it and then opened it, ended it. So what's going to happen is now this full screen is going to automatically close once the video ends. Let's try that. So almost finished. Yeah, you saw it got closed and also showing the end screen, which is nothing but removing. If you check the show end screen, it's removing the iframe, removing the attribute loaded, because we have removed the iframe from the DOM, and we also setting the attribute to end it to true so that we can handle the CSS and stuff accordingly. Then we also have a function called replay video, which we do when the user again clicks on this button after it's finished playing. We set the attribute ended to false, and then we load the video player again, which is nothing but calling this function again, which again creates an iframe and inserts into the DOM. Okay, and then exit full screen is nothing but just document.exit full screen. So that's all that is happening there. I'm going to now show you how it's going to work for screen readers. So I'm going to press Command plus F5 to turn the screen reader on, and let me show you how that thing works. Let's see. Command F5.
Voiceover on Chrome. Test YouTube vertical line labot Google Chrome window.
Okay, so I'm here.
Window. We're entering test you visited play button group. You are currently on a button group inside of web content. To click this button, press Control Option Space to exit.
So I'm just going to press the space to play it.
Option Shift and one more item. Top 10 easy hikes in Switzerland.
So now you can see it's playing.
Top 10 easy hikes in Switzerland. Group. You are currently on a frame inside of web content. To enter the web area, press Control Option Shift down arrow. To exit this web area, press Control Option Shift up arrow.
So now, as you can see, it's focused, and I can hit tab again.
26 seconds of 8 minutes 30
I can press K button
0 minutes 30 seconds 0
to
minutes
play,
31 seconds of 8
right?
minutes 30 seconds 0.
Right, so that was a small video about how to improve performance for the YouTube video by building your own custom solutions. All right, so I hope you did like the video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.